Mr. Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, fellow members and guests. My name is Sue Paananen, and today I'll be giving my third speech with the theme of Get to the Point, which encourages us to have a clear picture of what impact we'd like to leave on the audience by the end of the speech. The title of my speech today is Streamlining Healthy Home-Cooked Meals, and I'd like to educate you on exactly what that means and inspire you if you have the desire to provide healthy home-cooked meals for your family, but maybe have a lack of time or energy when you get home from work at the end of the day, or maybe skills, a lack of skills to do so. By the end of the speech, I'll have explained why I chose to do this style of cooking, what it is, exactly it is, what are the benefits of streamlining your cooking, and a little bit on how to do it. The reason I chose to begin streamlining healthy home-cooked meals begins with my love for cooking. I've always loved to cook, from the time I was a preschooler, making concoctions in the kitchen, through elementary school, high school, making sweets every week, cookies in college, carrying a cookbook with me everywhere. I've always loved to cook. So naturally, when I began a family, I wanted to provide healthy home-cooked meals for them, which at first wasn't too hard to do because for a while I was able to stay at home with them and I had the time to do that. But when I went back to work full-time, the time to provide these meals for them became smaller, especially since I began taking classes in the evening to improve my skills on some subjects. And as my kids got older, they got into some community sports, and that involved a lot of time going to the sports, going to watch them. So my evening hours and my day hours were very tight, but my desire to provide healthy home-cooked meals for them was just as strong. A number of years prior to this situation, I had purchased a book called Once a Month Cooking by Mimi Wilson and Mary Beth Lagerborg. When I first got this book, I enthusiastically read through it, thinking this would be a really fun thing to do, but some of the recipes didn't really look like they would fit into what I might like to eat or serve my family, so I kind of put this book on the shelf for a while. I didn't really need to do it at the time. I was still at home. But when my situation changed and I had a very small amount of time to do the cooking I wanted to do, I decided to pick this book up again and look through it with a new eye on how to do it, since I had a real need to do it at this time. And even though I still didn't like some of the recipes, I decided to just modify it a little bit, using the techniques to serve the meals that I was used to cooking, that my family was used to having. So that's why I got into streamlining home-cooked meals. Now, what it is once a month, going to the grocery store, getting a menu together, writing down what you want in the menu, and having some people come with you, maybe some of your children or a spouse, go to the grocery store and get a lot of food that's on your menu. And at first it's a large grocery bill, but when you think that that's your grocery bill for pretty much for the whole month, and divide that out by 4, it actually becomes very reasonable. But then when you bring the food home, you only put away the refrigerated and frozen items and leave the rest out on the counters or the kitchen table because you'll be processing it within the next day or two. Then over the weekend you either get your kids to help you, a spouse. If they don't want to help you, maybe you can send them away and have a friend come over and have a fun time, play some music, and start processing all this food that you purchased. By the end of the weekend, you'll have made meals for pretty much the entire month and be able to store them. Here's a tip on how to store them. Store them in aluminum pans that are easy to buy, very inexpensive. You store them in your freezer or maybe your refrigerator, depending on what it is. And then as you come home in the evening, it's very easy to pop a meal in that you've already made, or perhaps you can call home in advance and have somebody else put it in the oven, so that by the time you get home, it smells really nice and the meal's pretty much ready. A lot of good benefits there. So some of the benefits, what I just said, is it makes it easy to come home and have a nice meal. That's one benefit. I already mentioned it saved money at the grocery store, even though it seemed like a large bill. When you think of it as the monthly bill, it's actually less expensive than if you went 4 or 5 times during the month. That's another benefit. It saves you time, even though it takes a lot of time over the weekend to do it. It saves you an hour easily each night of the week, and it saves you weekend hours on the other weekends that you don't have to do it. It also gets your kids involved in learning how to cook, kind of being a family unit, doing it together. If they don't help you, if you have a friend help you, it provides just a fun opportunity to get together with your friend. Maybe on another weekend you can go to your friend's house and do that for their family, and it could be a lot of fun. So those are some of the benefits. Not to mention it provides you with the healthy meals throughout the month that you chose the menu of yourself, as opposed to being compelled to go out and get some fast food if you didn't have any time to make or didn't have anything prepared, or stocking up your freezer with a bunch of frozen entrees from the frozen food aisles. So it has the health benefit, of course, as one of the large benefits. How to do it? Well, I mentioned a little bit about doing the grocery store event for the month and putting it all out and having some people come over. As you cook it, you can sort of categorize your food into starches and meats and fruits and vegetables, so that you can have someone processing each of the different areas as you work together. For example, you could make a huge batch or 2 or 3 of rice and line the bottom of some of these pans with rice. Maybe boil a chicken, bake some chicken, and when that's processed, cut it up into small pieces, put it on top of the rice. Maybe include some kind of cream soup, cream of mushroom, cream of celery, cream of chicken. Include that in. Throw in some of the vegetables that you've processed. Put a cover on it, put it in the freezer, and when the day comes that you want to actually eat it, you might take it out of the freezer the night before, or certainly that morning, and by evening someone can easily pop it in the oven and it'll be ready really simply. Another category of food, of course, is a bunch of pasta. You could cook up a bunch of pasta or noodles, and again, line these pans with some pasta or noodles, put either some Alfredo sauce on top with some chicken or hamburger that you've already cooked, or some spaghetti sauce on top, sort of mix it in there, maybe some vegetables thrown in there, some cooked broccoli, and it just goes really nicely into the freezer, and it thaws really nicely the night before you want to eat it. Those are a couple of different ideas. Some meat processing, for example, if you get 5-10 pounds of hamburger, you can portion them up, maybe add some seasonings to them, fashion them into hamburger shapes or a meatloaf, and very easily cook them on the day that you want them. Those are some ideas. For example, if you have ham, you can maybe slice a big piece of ham, you can slice some slices off of it, throw that in the freezer, have that ready for sandwiches, or to have with mashed potatoes and baked beans. You can chop some up into little cubes and throw that in a baggie, perhaps a portion. You could pull it out, put it on a salad, put it in a hot dish. It's just doing all the processing on the same weekend makes it really easy to have easy to grab items on the night that you want them. So I've educated you on what Streamlining Healthy Home-Cooked Meal is. I've explained why I began doing it, what some of the benefits are, and a little bit on how you can do it. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and I hope it's inspired you to maybe try it 1 month, give it a try, and see how fun it can be doing it with a friend, and how easy it is the rest of the month, or even if you do it for a 2-week time period. It doesn't have to be for a full month, just give it a try. See how easy it is to come home and have a nice, easy meal to eat ready for you. Thank you.